Oh, Universal, when will you learn? But you won't, because this movie made gobs of money, so of course you're gonna make another one. Now, a very close friend of mine did actually go and see this movie before me, and let's just say, when I asked her opinion on what she thought of this movie, because I was looking forward to it, she said it was a 10 out of 10. I don't know how to start off by saying, I mean, you're all entitled to your opinion, of course, but a 10 out of 10? Yeah, I'm not sure if we watched the exact same movie because, holy lord, this was far from a 10 out of 10. But I'm gonna be honest, this isn't like an absolute piece of garbage movie like the last one. Now, granted, with the last one, same person that I talked to went to go see the last one with me, and I was genuinely curious, like, how? How is this a 10 out of 10? And before I went to go see it, I then said to myself, okay, this movie's got a slap. And then I went to go see it with a friend of mine. In 3D, mind you. Yeah, I think when I saw the re-release of the first movie in 3D, I think one of them was a 10 out of 10. And it wasn't this one. Now, if you're expecting me to hate this movie, you're not gonna get that. You're definitely not gonna get that. But I want to be very clear. This movie isn't as bad as I thought. Now, when me and my buddy went to go see this movie in theaters, we both didn't know what to think of this movie. We had no idea what to think of this movie. Like, even how to rate it. Like, we didn't know if we considered it good, mediocre, or even just, like, bad. But there was so much good in this movie. We just didn't know what to think when we left the theater. Now that I've gathered my thoughts and I rewatched it, I can safely say this movie is aggressively mediocre, and I think what this film suffers from is the fact that this is the exact same as all the other movies that we've seen in the Jurassic Park movies, you know? It's just the exact same film. The reason why I'm not going to hate on this film is because I love this franchise. I do like it, so I know I am part of the problem, but I am. But I do like this franchise enough to know when this movie has hit its mark. This movie had hit its stride long ago with the last one, and this is just all the more clear. And what sucks about this is the fact that I love the director of this movie. He's made great sci-fi movies before. He made Godzilla. He made The Creator. He made Rogue One. And then I was thinking, okay, he's got it with this movie, and yeah, I mean, he definitely has the effects, the spectacle down to a T, but I mean, this movie, it's just, there is so much that is just so aggressively mediocre about it. Even the family that is in this movie. This family that essentially is in the entirety of this movie, I mean, just serves no purpose. I have nothing to say about them. I don't even want them to die necessarily, but it is just the reason why some of these Jurassic Park and World movies don't work. It's the humans. We want to focus on the dinosaurs. But to be clear, are we even going to call them dinosaurs anymore? Because most of this movie, in most of this movie, they are essentially just, mutated dinosaurs. And yes, they do look cool, admittedly, but at this point, it's just a monster movie. I'm confused why we're even calling it a Jurassic movie anymore. It's just a monster movie. And there's nothing wrong with that. In fact, there's quite a lot I want to get into with this movie that I actually enjoy. I mean, obviously, the big standout in this movie that was in all the advertisements was the raft scene. Now, as much as I can just basically say, in fact, I'm just going to flat out just say it, as much as I can just shit on this movie, I will be honest, the raft scene is really cool. It is recycled from the first book, and it is kind of disappointing the fact that they used this scene from the book in this movie, but you know what? I actually kind of like it. It's actually a really cool moment. It is a really well suspenseful scene built up, and then the rafting sequence is pretty cool. I don't know how the T-Rex didn't just pop the raft, honestly. That was kind of bonkers, but you know what? It's a bonkers movie, so I just let it go. But it was still a fairly cool moment. In fact, a lot of the action sequences, when you do eventually get to them, because admittedly, the first act of this movie is so slow and sluggish that me and my buddy kept looking at each other like, is anything gonna happen? When is the action gonna happen? And when you do get the action, it is admittedly really cool. The spectacle is all there, the effects are top notch, and it is really cool to see these creatures on the big screen again, and it's really kind of fun. I mean, even though it makes little to no sense with the, Quetzalcoatlus, I'm sorry if I mispronounced that. It's early in the morning right now, and I just got done lifting. I'm trying my best to get through this video as best as I can. But when that Quetzalcoatlus comes flying in, even though it has no real... It makes no sense why there's a temple in this movie. That's all I'm going to say. Even from the advertisements, when I saw that temple in this, as cool as the action is in this scene, it made no sense. And it's just shrugged off. Like, why is there a temple there? It just feels like it is straight out of, an Uncharted movie, basically. Or out of a video game. In fact, this entire movie, as cool as the action is, this whole movie has, moments where I was just like, wait, this is where we're going with this? Like, when they have a big moment with the Brontosaurus, mutation dinosaurs, it plays the classic theme, and I can't not help but go am I supposed to be... Because this is done in every single movie where they try and make it magical again, and I don't know if this is a sign that the series is showing its age, but if it is clear as day, because I had no whimsy. It was cool to look at, but I mean, I just could not care. It felt like everything we've seen it done before. This movie is so repetitive. We've seen it done in other films. As flawed as flawed as the third one is, at least that movie was short. This movie's 2.5 hours, and it should not be 2.5 hours in all honesty. This movie could have been easily 2 hours or under 2 hours. But for some reason, it's 2 hours and 15 minutes. I don't know why, it just somehow is. As cool as the action is, there is still a lot here that drags on and on and on. And it was just boring most of the time. Say what I will about the third Jurassic World, at least that one was so stupid, so silly, I was entertained, despite the fact that this movie was twice as long as this. Well, actually not twice as long. It felt twice as long. Even though I hate the last one and everything, at least Dominion was silly enough and stupid enough to hold my attention. Now, basically, I am saying that I am like a kid that needs jingling keys, but these aren't engaging characters in this movie. I barely remember their names. I bet you barely know their names. I mean, I don't know any of the characters. I don't know their names. The previous ones, I can at least remember maybe all of their names. I don't know. It's been a hot minute since I've rewatched the movies. But yeah, it is just so... Sorry I'm going on a tangent here, but as cool as the action is, it's just so frustrating, man. Oh yeah, and the raptors that are the big bad in the entire series, and somehow they were the heroes in the last trilogy. Yeah, in this one, they get maybe 5 seconds before getting absolutely obliterated by a mutant dinosaur. Okay, fine, it's kind of cool, but you know what? It still kind of ticked me off a little bit, because I like the raptors enough. Bye! Oh yeah, but forget the raptors and the T-Rex, we got a new dinosaur that admittedly looks kind of badass. I'm not gonna lie, it was really cool when I first saw it. Who kills a scientist and a slimy dude at the third act. And he doesn't fight a single dinosaur in this movie. He just eats two people and then screws off for the rest of the film. That's it. And you think I'm joking? No, I'm not even kidding. Besides the opening scene and the third act, this dinosaur does not do a whole lot for the movie. Despite he looks cool, he had a really terrific introduction in the beginning of the movie. In fact, it, kind of, made me think, okay, now I can see why my friend thinks this is a 10 out of 10, only to be disappointed 2 hours later. And then, yeah, it just shows up in the third act. Now, there are some really cool shots, and the dinosaur does, okay, never mind, it does eat, besides two people, it does eat a helicopter at one point, which is kind of terrifying. But besides that, the big D-Rex in this movie does not have a whole lot to do. And in all honesty, what I liked about the Jurassic World, the first Jurassic World anyway, was the dinosaur fights. Now I know that kind of just seems like silly of me to just kind of want more action, especially when I've been known to watch slow-moving movies. But this isn't an indie art house film. This is Jurassic World. Have fun with it. Stop focusing on the humans and the talky stuff. Let's focus on the action. Let's focus on the D-Rex going at it with a T-Rex. You know how cool it would have been to see that, especially with like one long arm and one short arm, just absolutely annihilate a T-Rex, or toss a raptor to the side, or scratch the heck out of a brontosaurus. That would have been cool. But we got none of that. And I could not be more disappointed because we got zip. Nothing with this dinosaur. And it literally does not even get killed. So you bet your sweet bippy this movie made damn near $1 billion. They're gonna make a sequel to this movie. If not in 2 years or 3 years from now, they will make it down the road. And yes, I am part of the problem by still continuing to see these movies, but like I said, I am a fan of this franchise. I like this franchise, and that's why it's disappointing for me. It's the fact that the last two films in this series were so disappointing. Jurassic World Dominion, the last one, disappointed me because it took a rock-solid concept and just completely shat all over it and focused on locusts. And then this movie acts like a reboot, but this movie is the exact same like all the other movies. You could watch this, and I guess that's what's kind of nice, at least it doesn't have so many, story moments where you have to look back on the previous films. This one kind of stands on its own, but it is just so disappointing the fact that they built this up as like a rebooted. Now granted, in articles I've read, they have said that they are trying to go to like past movies on what worked for those past movies, but they did not focus on what worked with those movies. What worked for those movies were the sillier aspects with the dinosaurs and the cool battle scenes with the dinosaurs. And yes, the human characters aside, the dinosaurs were what we were going to see. And in this one, there's not a whole lot of dino action, and there's nothing here that really happens. I know I've been ranting about this movie and essentially repeating myself, but that's exactly this movie. This movie just repeats everything that worked and didn't work in the previous films and just combined it all in a blender, and we get this movie. Now, with all that said, is this movie an absolute piece of garbage, like I said in the intro, now that I've got my tangent out of the way? No, it's far from it. In fact, I don't mind rewatching this film. Like I said, this movie has, for as little action as it does have, there are some really cool set pieces in this. And some really decent acting. Even though I could care less about the characters, the acting is decent. The effects are really good, admittedly. Everything technically is really good. In terms of the script or story, don't look for it. Don't look for a story, and I feel like that's the best way to approach this series in the first place. Don't look for a story. Just look in to have fun. And in fact, that's what me and my buddy were doing when we went to go see this movie. But even with our brains turned off and ready for some action, we were still disappointed. So take that for what it's worth. This review has already gone on for far too long, much longer than I anticipated. Anyway, that's about it. Take it easy, everyone. See ya.